Hello, my name is Joyce.
And I'm Larry from Heaven's Gate Cherry Farm.
And we'd like to say hello to Casey and his family from Ormsby Farms. And we'd also like to thank them for inviting us to share our story about how we got started concerning the tools and the equipment that we used in getting started.
Yes, he wanted us to do a collaboration with them, and they asked us if we would do the tools and equipment, how did we started our farm. They have other things that their other farms are going to talk about other things, but he asked us if we would do that part, and I told him yes. I'll tell him how we did our farm and tell him what equipment we did to get started and all the ins and outs of starting our farm. So that's what we're going to do.
And we started out, of course, if any of you have seen Heaven's Gate Cherry Farm, we started out doing only cherries.
Right.
That's what we started out doing. But of course, we moved into gardening, canning, and also apples and nectarines. And we'll share a little bit about that with you as we get started and go along.
Yeah, as we go along, like I said, we're going to start out and tell you what we needed when we first started and what we advanced with tools and equipment as we went along. And then as we go out and, like I said, as we advance into our apples, then we're going to show you what equipment we had to do to clear the land and all that kind of stuff, because it all takes a process. But the process we have to let you know ahead of time is, as a farm, you're going to start a farm or a homestead. In order to buy equipment, you have to know what you're going to do and how big you're going to be, how small you're going to be. This is what it's going to take what equipment you're going to need. So this is, like I said, for us, when we first started out, we didn't have very much. We didn't have to have very much. Like when we started saying we're going to do cherries, we started with a wheelbarrow. We started with 2 shovels and some mulch and 50 trees. That's all we needed. We didn't have much. We didn't have to. I had basically the shovels and the wheelbarrow already. So see, this is how you do it. As we move along in our farm, you have to determine, how big you're going to go. I'll say that over again. Find out what you're going to do, what your farm's all about. Is it going to be a big farm? Is it going to be a small farm? So that's what I have to say.
And also, we started out, we didn't have to go out and buy some extra land to do this on, because we had so many acres on the property that we already lived on. So we used that to get started. And even though we did end up using tractors we had to level some land to use to get the trees started and everything, but we actually had quite a bit of land that was already level. So right. We started out, we didn't have to do a lot of work with the land.
That's right. When we did the cherries were approximately an acre. It was already next to as we call it, the cabin or the farm now. But we had 5 acres, and an acre of it was already cleared. So I said, I'm going to start a farm because we had all this acreage, and I wanted to do cherries. And she said, okay, let's do this. So that's what we did. And so in this video, what you're going to see right here is we're going to be wheelbarrowing after we planted the trees, and we're going to be putting the mulch down through there. And you'll see it on the video here that's what we were doing. This is how we started. We just had 50 trees. So we didn't need much tools or anything. That's all we needed. But as the years have grown in the last 5 years, yeah, a lot of things have changed and tools have changed. And that's what we're going to talk about as we go along here. The changes and the tools that you need. So always, always start by thinking, what am I going to do? What is my game plan for this farm? If it's just a hobby farm, you just need normal tools that a farmer would use. Maybe a tractor. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe a garden tractor. Maybe just, like I said, hand tools. It depends on what you guys want to do. So we're going to start this series off, and we're going to start it and start saying one by one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what we're going to do and how we've implemented our tools and what tools. And then I'm going to tell you at the end the tools that I say, the equipment I say you can't be without. All right. So let's go ahead and go on, Joyce.
So one of the things that was a lot of work in the beginning, I don't think I was really prepared for that, but it was a lot of work, but it was great exercise, and that was the post hole diggers for the trees. Remember now, we got 50 trees that came in, and we're digging holes and we're planting them in there. The work, it was just real simple work, but it was work nonetheless. But it's so satisfying, and we were very excited about planting the trees. So the post hole diggers was work. I remember starting.
Right. We used the post hole diggers. We had to use rakes. We had to use shovels. We had a wheelbarrow. Those are some of the tools that we started out our very first thing. Yes, I had a truck. I mean, if you always, everybody should have a vehicle of some sort or a trailer, something to carry dirt, stuff like that. You're going to need it. So these are the tools that we used as we started, you know, to get ourselves started. That was pretty much the first year. That was all we had done. Going into the second year, there was a lot of different things that happened. We applied for a high tunnel. And when we applied for the high tunnel, the equipment changed. Now we had to have, I borrowed my brother-in-law's tractor, which was a Massey Ferguson tractor, a medium-sized tractor. We had to have a tractor. We borrowed it.
I don't mean to cut him off, but there's one thing I want to inject in here. If you are a new farmer, this was a really cool thing that I did not know. One of my friends called me and told me this. If you are a new farmer, you are probably eligible to get a free high tunnel, and those high tunnels are $10,000 or more, somewhere in the vicinity of at least between $8,000 and $10,000. Right. So if you're a new farmer, you can actually apply for a high tunnel and you can get it free. Of course, you have to carry it on your income tax, but you still don't have to pay the money, and you can get that high tunnel up front and put it up yourself and put your trees in or whatever else you're going to put in there.
And that's through the federal government, and it's called the NRCS. And you apply for it, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you'll get it. And it depends on which size high tunnel. Ours is a 30 by 96. We've got 2 of them there now, but that was our first one we applied for. So that's what we did with that was what we decided to do with our cherries. We were going to do a new technology, growing cherries under that's when we had to have more equipment. And like I say, we had to use a tractor. Tractors come in very handy. They're expensive. My advice to you, if you're going to get a tractor, is to buy one used. Don't buy new. If you're starting out on any tools that you buy, don't buy new. It's better to buy used and get yourself established. And then once everything is going good and the money comes in, then you can start worrying about, buying a newer stuff, less maintenance and everything, but buy used at first just to get yourselves going. I strongly urge that.
Yeah. And the first year when we put up the first high tunnel, I wasn't there quite as much because my mother was very sick during that time. And but the second year, they started to clear the land, and I came up during that time for the whole time that they were there. It's really nice when you got family to help out, because a couple of our grandsons came to help, and my son and his friend Micah, which is my son.
Yes.
Anyway, and anyway, we had quite a bit of help to help put up the high tunnels and clear the land. So if you can get help in your family, it's really, really an enjoyable time. So
right, because when we put our second high tunnel up, we had family, and as you see in this video right here, you'll see the family helping us put the high tunnel up. And I'm telling you what, like I said, family helps. The more hands, light work. So this is, if you got family will help, let them help you. Let them help you get your farm started. It very much works out, and it benefits you to have family help you. It really is. So yeah, and as we got after we got all that high tunnel done, that was in the second year. Third year coming up, I had apples coming. I had already ordered them. So we had to clear land. So I had to borrow my brother-in-law's tractor again, and we had to clear land. And I'll let Joyce tell you about how we cleared that land with equipment. And
you'll get to see this video too. I mean, this tractor, it was unbelievable. Yep. You'll get to see our tractor, the one we ended up buying. It was a used tractor. It's a workhorse though. But this first tractor that he borrowed from his brother, the way it tore through trees and just, I dug up ground, dragged everything, logs. Yep. And then I'll tell you about the grappling hook. I'll let Larry tell you about that. But this tractor, this Massey Ferguson tractor that his brother let him use, and you'll see it in the video, I named it the termite. I mean, it's a super termite because it just ate up and chewed up everything. It was unbelievable. And you'll see when you see this tractor working why I named it the...
It literally cleared out where the apples are. On our farm now, it literally cleared out almost 2 acres of land. We did it in 5 days, okay? That tells you what equipment helps. Instead of, if I'd had to do that by hand, we'd still be doing it.
And tell them about what we found while
Oh,
we
yeah.
were digging up in there.
We were clearing the land with that tractor, and I told her, well, we're just going to wrap a chain around it, and we're just going to drag these logs out of here just like this. I said, but it sure would be nice if I had, and I couldn't remember the name of it at the time, that you just go up there and lock onto them, and they'd grab it and lift it up. Well, as I was digging out I think I was trying to dig out a stump, and I hit something that sounded like a chain, and I went, well, that's 6 inches in the ground. And when I dug it out, it was just what that we were looking for. And like Joyce said, that was God sent, because
Absolutely.
it was a grappling hook, and it would wrap around the log. And when you lift up, it just tightened right up and lifted the log up, and it was.
And you'll get to see that in one of the videos also.
It had to have been back in the logging days, because Michigan they did a lot of logging up where we're at, and it had to have been. There's no other way. Nobody else. I never had the grappling hook. It had to have been before I bought it. We've owned it for 30 years, so many years that's been in the ground, and it worked, and it did wonders. And that was a tool that years ago they probably used with a horse and buggy to drag logs out, but there's another tool that made my life easier. So, and that's what we had to do. And we cleared all those logs out in a week. Me and Joyce, we worked our off. So
yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, it was a lot of work, but it was so much fun, so gratifying. We also ended up, we already owned this, like a little wagon and a trailer. We already had
three-wheeler, we had that.
And we would go and use these, the trailer, the three-wheeler, to haul some of the branches, the leaves, and you'll get to see all of that. And
I'm going to post these as I'm going along. We're going to show the videos as we're talking, everything what we've used in the tool. You're going to see all the tools that we've used.
Yes, so much work, but so much fun, really gratifying.
Yes, and it, like I said, then after we got that all cleared the following year, what'd we do? We got trees. So you guys are going to see probably in this video us out planting trees. Of course, what did we use? We used shovels, rakes.
Post hole diggers?
Huh?
Post hole diggers?
Post hole diggers were for the posts that go around, but we put the fence around it and everything. So we worked very hard with manual labor. I probably could have used a backhoe to dig every one of them holes out, would have been quicker, but we didn't have one. So we dug it by hand. It's like I said, you use what you have, and as you go along, once you make life easier, when you can afford more of the stuff, and it will make your life easier as we go. We still don't have a backhoe, and I'd love to have one, but one day we'll have one, but as our farm will grow. So this is what we're trying to explain to you. As growing a farm, this is what needs to happen along the way. We need equipment, and the equipment you need, some of it you're not going to be able to do right away. You got to use manual labor and manual tools.
But also, as the time went by, we did accumulate more tools, more equipment.
Yep.
The next year we were able to, buy even more, and then a year after that, even more. And that's just how it works. You buy so much this year and buy so much next year.
Right.
But then we ended up with quite a bit of tools and equipment right now, and he was able to build a shed. And
we've got a shed. We've got a shed full of equipment. We've got, and it's not power equipment.
Log splitter.
We've got a log splitter, and that's a must if you're gonna be a homesteader and you're gonna heat with wood. I was gonna talk about, we got a log splitter. You need a chainsaw. You have to cut wood. We got all that wood, and yes, we heat with wood when we're up there. We do have a furnace, but we heat with wood. Some of this is some of the stuff you guys need to think about when you're, what kind of tools? These are necessities. And if you're going to live there permanently, and like some of them want to live off the land and be off grid, a chainsaw is a must. A log splitter is a must. Yeah, you can split it by hand, but I'm going to tell you, at my age, at 64, a log splitter works good. Yes, we're going to show you the girls splitting wood. It's work. They found that out, but a log splitter, I'm telling you
yes,
what.
Yes, I'm grateful for the log
right.
splitter, because using the axe or the maul, as you call it, it was hard work.
Yes,
and
it is.
This log splitter, you'll get to see that too.
Yep.
It's made things a lot easier.
So this is the equipment that we use. And like I said, for the number one thing that I would tell you, if you can afford it right away, that's fine, is a tractor. A friend of ours come up and he said, I got this what you need for your farm, and it was a compact tractor. I can't live without it. all right? I'm going to tell anybody and everybody that a compact tractor on a small farm is a must. That is a must. As soon as you can, but don't buy new. Find a used one, and unless you can buy new. But it'll make your life easier. Yeah, I realize that out of anything, out of small tools, big tools, anything, I use that compact tractor the most. And it's a must. It just, Joyce uses it all the time. She can use it, operate it, it has no problem. And that's a must. I mean, if anybody says to Larry, what would be your number one thing? It's a compact tractor and used. I'm not going to stress that enough. Go to rummage sales, go to garage sales, whatever you need, and buy used.
Marketplace, Facebook, if you're on
buy
there,
good used stuff.
Yes, you can find some good deals.
And you'll be able to start your homestead or your farm or whatever you're going to do. But like I say, I can't emphasize this enough. Sit down before you buy any tools, any equipment, and say, what are we going to do? What is this farm going to be? A homestead, off-grid? Are we going to be on-grid? Are we going to be a farm, a small farm? We're going to sell farm, just make food for ourselves? We're going to sell food to people. Are we going to have fruit, vegetables? We're going to sell it? Or are we going to be a big industry? You have to sit down before you go to that property and say, well, I'm going out and buy property. Oh, fine. But did you buy enough property? That's the thing, all right? That's the next thing, because as my farm grows, and I'm going to tell, Joyce knows all this, as our farm grows, I want to go off-site, okay? This is as big as I want to make this part of the farm. We're an industry. We're an LCC. We want to grow bigger. We just don't want to be just what we are. We're going to incorporate down the road, the next few years, we're going to incorporate strawberries, blackberries, all kinds of different fruits and vegetables that we can incorporate out and sell out, not just keep for ourselves. So this is what you guys got to stress. Now, like I said, I know probably Casey wanted to say, well, get this tool, get that tool, get this tool, get this tool. It's not it's not that easy. I mean, because if you're going to be a big, huge industry and you got the money, you're going to go out and buy brand new and big and all these big tools and all this. But if you're just going to start out being
like we did,
small farmer, and you're going to slowly grow, just go to the rummage sales and buy, axes, hose, shovels, stuff like that.
Rakes, trowels, water holes, whatever you can
manual
use.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's another thing. You're going to have, after I told you about having wood and everything to heat, you're going to have a source of water, whether it be a river or you dig a well. We dug a well, and I'll show you in this picture right here where I put the well down myself. Okay, it cost us at our place in Michigan $1,800 to put the well down by hand. Costs a lot of money some places. Some places, clear out west, $10,000, $12,000, $14,000. So this is the things that I want to say to you guys, that starting a farm looks like, hey, I'm going to start a farm. And even I thought, well, hey, I'm going to start a farm and I'm going to do this. It's more into it. There's a lot more into it. You're going to spend, if you love doing it, that's fine, but you're going to spend a lot of money. And Joyce knows this. She probably knows that we've spent more money probably she wants to spend, but
it's been very fulfilling, and it's paid off. It has, and I'm sure this is going to pay off even more.
Right, and it'll always pay off if it's hard work, but tools, remember, think about what you're going to do. Buy the land. It
keeps you young too.
Right, and right, it keeps us young. And if you're young, you got a lot of life ahead of you. Now, we've got a lot of life ahead of us yet, but we got to push a little forward faster to make this work.
We started a little later.
Yeah, we started a little later in life. But as far as tools, like I said, I've given you my rundown on what tools that we're using and what we have and how we've started our farm. And don't think that it's just been me, because that girl right there in these videos has worked her hind end off.
Absolutely.
And that's for sure. And we've worked it hard together. The family has helped us. And it's not easy. And I'm going to say that. It's fun and it's rewarding, but it's not going to be easy. So don't just walk into it and say, well, I'm just going to go buy tools and buy land and I'm going to just start. Because I guarantee you in a week's time, you're going to look at it and go, what did I do? Or did I make a mistake? No, you didn't make a mistake, but plan for it. Plan, then buy your tools. And I told you all the tools that we've used. And then go to it. And you should succeed. And I don't see why anybody don't. We're succeeding, and there's just some setbacks. I'll say one more thing before we close. we've had a lot of setbacks. And Joyce can tell you all the setbacks, and I'll let her tell you some of the setbacks that we've had.
Well, for one, we were disappointed about the cherries. We didn't get the cherries like as soon as we thought we would have them, and one of the biggest reasons was the weather.
Exactly.
We're in the North Country, and we've had a lot of cold spells, and so that just didn't set well with the cherry trees.
Yep, and then we planted apples, and we planted them the first time, and I come to find out that there was some problems with where we buy our apple trees from, and they said that we might have had some damaged stock, which we pretty much did, and they sent us some out. Great, they did a good job sending us back out, but we had to replant them. So just know there's hiccups.
And you get to see that back here too.
Yeah.
I hope you.
I'll show
pay
some of that
attention to
back there.
We,
I was replanting
planted
trees.
a lot of trees and then had to replant a lot. But again, it is like Larry said. It is rewarding. It is fulfilling. No, it's not easy, but it's not intended to be easy. Anything worth having is really worth working for. So
Right.
it all is working out.
Right. It all works out. And like I said, if you're going to just make sure are you going to live on the farm permanently? Or are you just going to have a farm that, like us, we live in another place. Our farm is somewhere in northern Michigan. So we have to travel. So there's a tool. I have to have a truck, a vehicle to get back and forth. This is when you just say, well, like Casey wanted, just tell the tools that you use for farming. It's not quite that easy because, everybody can have a hoe, a shovel, and a wheelbarrow and everything and go to work. But what is your farm going to be? That is going to be the main thing. And then if you could tell me, right, I'm looking at you and you look back at me and tell me what kind of farm you're going to have, then I can say, well, I can tell you almost what you need. But I can tell you from our farm and our experience what we need. And I hope this gives you guys a little insight of what we're doing and maybe give you guys some planning processes for what tools and stuff you're going to need, but just plan it. That's always it. And I hope this I hope this video helps. And you got anything else, Joyce, you want to say? And
No,
that's pretty much it. So Casey, I hope this works out, and all the other ones that are collaborating. I hope this fills what you guys want. And if it does, more power. Hey, I'm going to be watching what you guys have. And I thank you for letting us join this. And me and Joyce will be waiting and watching all you guys' videos, and so we can learn something from you guys. So that's what it's all about. This collaboration is about all the different things of a farm. And this is what we're telling you about tools and everything. So from Joyce and I,
from Heaven's Gate Cherry Farm. Thank you.
Have a good one. We always are glad all of you come to visit. Bye now.
Bye.